Begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, this is Rick Walsh. I'll be the moderator for today's call, and we will be getting started in about 1 minute.
Rick, Sunil here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Sunil, I sure can. Welcome to the call.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting in about 30 seconds. Hello everyone, this is Rick Walsh. I'll be the moderator for today's call. I'm joined by Sunil Wadhwa. We are independent distributors with the Bella Homes program, and we want to welcome you to what we call the real story behind Bella Homes. You know, Bella Homes Network Marketing Division is now 45 days old. And sure, there's been a lot of questions and a lot of ups and downs, and what we want to do on this webinar is we want to answer some questions that have been brought up by some individuals in the field and answer those concerns to make sure that everyone has the right idea of who Bella Homes is and where they're going in the future. The questions that have been brought up center around three things. One of them is the compensation plan top-heavy and unreasonably favoring the master distributors? Very good question. The second question, is the company really owned by Mark Diamond, or is it owned by an individual with a record? And the third question, is the program legal? Now, although we have answered many of these questions on the daily webinars, since they've been brought up and people have been discussing them back and forth, we want to let you know where the questions came from and what the real answers are to those questions. The questions were brought up, actually, by a paid vendor for the company. That individual's name is David Will. David Will was hired to do some website design and did some work on the website that you're actually using right now. In the pursuit of his duties, he wanted access to some information. First of all, he requested an advance copy of the compensation plan. This copy was sent to him, but it was also sent, attached to that was an internal memo on the funding of the network marketing division. And so, since some confidential information was already sent, and there would be more in order to keep him working for the company, he was asked that in order to keep working as a vendor for the company, we would need a non-disclosure agreement, as many confidential items would be shared with him. And so after receiving that request for a confidentiality agreement, we received the following back. As you can see, it's entitled a professional services contract. And as you see under the fees in red, Mr. Will wanted a one-time non-refundable retainer of $50,000 to be paid to David Will via a bank cashier's check. Well, I have to admit, for an individual who had earned several $100s for a company, had been working for them for a week, I thought a demand for a $50,000 cashier's check was a little bit outrageous, but whatever. The request for that check, of course, was denied. The problem then occurred a couple days later in that one of the websites that Mr. Will created all of a sudden had a video by Mr. Will expressing his concern about some of the documents that he had seen. What is interesting to note is that he mentioned that regarding those documents, he just wanted to let the information out because he felt compelled from a heartfelt seeking the truth that whatever was in those documents was raising some questions and should be brought to light. I guess it had nothing to do with the $50,000, but okay. In either case, over the ensuing days after it was determined that I guess he felt that using the company website to express his concerns would not be legal, that he moved it to other websites. And so, feeling that he may have felt that he wasn't paid enough for his services, I proceeded to call David Will, along with some other individuals that were on the phone with me, leaders in the network marketing arena that command the utmost respect and are of the utmost integrity. And I asked Mr. Will if he felt he was wrongly compensated. I thought that $50,000 might be too much, and maybe the what he was paid was too little. And he was quick to inform me that it was not a dispute over a few $100s. He just felt compelled to do his research and to sort of magnanimously help people learn the truth. I said, okay. He then informed me, though, that his domain name was for sale. And I said, your domain name is for sale? And he said, yes. I said, why would we want to purchase the domain name? He had then told me that we would be able to put up on that domain anything that we wanted to, instead of what was appearing that he was putting up. So I said, well, how much do you want for that domain name? And his reply was $250,000. I don't know. I thought that was a little pricey for a domain name, but you'll have to be the judge. Who knows what was in the mind of Mr. Will? But I think the important thing for the field to know are the answers to the questions that he brought up. So I think we need to go into those, each and every one. One of them was, is the compensation plan top-heavy and unreasonably favoring the mass distributors? The second, is the company really owned by Mark Diamond, or is it owned by an individual with a record? And is the program legal? Well, let's take a look at each one of those questions. Let's also take a look at how a normal multi-level marketing or network marketing company starts up. I've been doing this now in network marketing full-time for 32 years. I actually started in 1979. And so a normal MLM company is entrepreneurs that want to take advantage of the MLM model, have done their research, and decide to move forward. The MLM distributor who is experienced might want to start a company. They want to start their own and do it their way. Or finally, it could be an existing traditional company that's in trouble, and they want to switch to MLM to save the company and increase sales. And the master distributors, where do they come from, and what is their job? Well, they're normally contacted by a company that's going MLM or is starting an MLM, and they want those master distributors to be the first distributors to start the recruiting process. They have an existing home office. They're already staffed for MLM. They have the legal hired and the computers are done. The company provides the websites, the material, the PowerPoints, the webinars, the conferences, etc. The master distributors merely are remunerated for starting to sponsor people. Bella Homes is a little bit different. Bella Homes has 18 months of operation. They're profitable. They have a great working model. They have nearly 300 homes acquired. They're operating in 22 states successfully. They have retained 50 attorneys. They have professional salespeople closing several deals per month each, handling questions and objections and doing all the paperwork. Although they do have some thoughts for the future, they would like to expand in other states. They know they can advertise and flood the market. They have a lot of capital, but they're concerned about liability and exposure. What do we mean by that? Well, if homeowners believe this is the solution and they don't, and too many come to the table at one time, they might not get the hands-on questions answered that they need, and they might wait too long and maybe not take advantage of other alternatives for the real estate challenge. So they want a somewhat controlled growth. They'd like more sales, and they're considering expanding their model. They really don't have any thought of MLM. They have no preconception of MLM. They have no experience in multi-level marketing. And then one day, the phone rings. And this is an interesting little story, and I just want to make sure we got the audience view here. We do. And it's Sunil. Sunil has 23 years experience in the network marketing industry. And Sunil says, we have a model that'll take what you have and intensify it. We can expand geographically like you would like to expand. We can increase sales through increasing the salespeople. And you know what? It can be self-funding through sign-ups and through the website fees. Because you see, Sunil is going to request a 40 to 45% increase in commissions to the field so that the network marketing model could work without changing what the client got, and therefore the funding must come through the division itself. He says we can set up the training, the marketing, the West Coast division and presence, and you sit back and do what you already do. Close homes and negotiate with banks. So where does the compensation of the sales, the sign-up fees, and the website fees, where do they go? Well, 85% front end paid out to the field. Folks, the lowest payout in the industry is one of the big companies from 40, 50 years ago. They pay out about 29 to 32 cents. Those companies that are trying to be real competitive pay out 40 to 55. I've seen a company as high as a 65% actual payout. This is 85%, the highest payout in the history of network marketing. This is 40% higher than what the Bella model was doing before the introduction of network marketing. But yet, we still have more available than that 85%, and we have website fees, and we have sign-up fees. Where are they going? Well, see, this isn't a master distributorship. It's an MLM division, and they pay for the MLM law firm that was hired, one of the prominent ones in the industry, the website design that the distributors are using, including the checks to people like Mr. Will that would enhance that site, the consultants that were hired, as well as the network marketing software and execution. I don't know if you're aware of that, but that's anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000. All division expenses come out of that money. All future incentives come out of that money. And so that is the question of who is overcompensated and is it top heavy? We have the largest payout in the industry, and the entire division is funded through the fees from day one, as they will continue to be. So the second question that was asked was, who owns Bella Homes? It is Mark Diamond. Mark Diamond is a proud member of the very prestigious National Ethics Bureau. He's very easy to find out information on. He's a member of the National Speakers Association, and Mark founded the Senior Educational Council. It's a national nonprofit senior advocacy group. Also a founding board member of the California Association for Senior Estate Planners. You know, that's interesting. I saw recently a post where it said there was a Mark Diamond and a brother, Terry, I believe, that had swindled some homeowners in Chicago through their construction company, with the inference that they were talking about our Mark Diamond. Well, actually, there's 138 Mark Diamonds in the United States. Only our Mark Diamond never had a construction company, doesn't have a brother, Terry, and was never in Chicago, living there or working there. Amazing how people could mistake who they're talking about. Well, then we've heard about a name called Daniel Del Piano. Is he really the one that owns the company? Well, no, sorry, wrong guy again. David Del Piano, age 23, works for the company. Many people have seen a picture of an individual, around 47 or 50, brought up as if he were David Del Piano. No, actually, the Del Pianos are family friends of the Diamonds, have been for like 30 years. And Mark, who has been like a father to David, wanted to employ him in the company. Well, what about Daniel Del Piano? Does he work for the company? No, Daniel Del Piano does not work for the company. Daniel Del Piano doesn't own any stock. Daniel Del Piano has no voting power. Daniel Del Piano is a father, and that's it. Well, wait a minute. Don't the people who post information on Daniel know this? Yes. Is Bella strategy legal? Third question. As many items are starting to show up about this law or that law, questioning the legality of the Bella strategy. Well, you know, sometimes the answer is empirical, which means it's simple or self-evident. 18 months of operation and not a lawsuit? 300 satisfied clients? 50 retained attorneys? And not one complaint in one Better Business office in any city in the United States? How could that be? Then why? Why all the legal questions? Well, that's the point. That's what's meant by opposing counsels in our legal system. Some people read things one way and some people read them the other. Let me just give you an example. Some people say, hey, I saw a law where a mortgager can't lease a home back once it's purchased. Well, okay, what's a mortgager? Well, it's an individual who has a mortgage. What's a mortgage? A legal tie between a lien holder and someone who borrowed the money. Well, isn't that the crux of the program? It's a legal binding contract, and the question on many of the mortgages is, are they legal mortgages? If there's no legal mortgage, then there's no mortgager, and therefore there's no problem. It's something that's battled in the courts. Other people say, well, don't you need a license to gain commission when the home is sold back to the original homeowner? Well, remember, the license we're talking about is a real estate license, and in most states, a real estate license is required if you provide professional realty services to a third party for a fee. Like, I hire Red Carpet Realty to help me sell my house, and I give them 6% of the proceeds. I'm a third party. I paid a fee. I got professional services. But you see, Bella Homes is selling a home back to an individual that they know and had a business relationship with. Well, it's not a third party. And are they providing professional services for selling a home? No. If you've heard of for sale by owner, FSBO, I could sell my home to the next door neighbor. That's not a professional service. And then finally, is there a fee? There's no fee involved. So actually, in most states, I can sell my home to my next door neighbor and pay my brother a professional referral fee because he told me my next door neighbor was looking for a house. So again, there is no black and white, and that's the purpose of having 50 attorneys. And also, we are the first company ever to offer legal indemnification. The company has stated in writing that any representatives that is doing exactly as the company prescribes, should they run afoul of any law, they will be indemnified and defended by the company. That hasn't ever happened before. So here is what the company wants to do. They want to move forward in a spirit of making a company that helps more and more people stay in their homes. They want to focus on training and on sales. They want to mitigate or eliminate the time and resources it takes to convince each and every new representative as to the legality and the efficacy of the program as it's already proven. Each new representative will have to decide for themselves. Here's also what they'd like to do. They'd like to create incentives for creating trained salespeople, not an internal network of just opportunity seekers. They'd like to move forward in a positive light in helping homeowners. But they understand there are some individuals who might want to stand in the way of where they're going for whatever reasons, employment contracts or selling domain names or whatever those reasons might be. And if they believe that they have been wronged in the process, they are a company whose profession is to enter into lawsuits. And so a letter has been sent to people that they feel have been offending their rights with Bella Homes. Not only individuals we may have discussed, but other individuals have put postings on their websites that they probably should not have. And the letter goes out, and I'll bring up a little part of it just to let you know that they want to protect your rights, your business, your future. And here's just one of the paragraphs in the letter by the attorneys of Bella to certain individuals that they believe are wronging them. They talk about that they're in the initial investigation stages and that they may be filing a complaint or lawsuit. And it states that such a lawsuit, if filed, will likely include causes of action for breach of contract, defamation, libel, slander, intentional interference with existing and prospective business relations, fraud, conversion, extortion, breach of the covenant of good faith and fair dealing, breach of copyright, trade libel, and conversion. And they will seek declaratory relief, an injunction, and monetary damages. So we always think that anyone can do their own due diligence. If you find people that might be stating things that you're not sure and you want to find out if those individuals really have the right intentions and and are honorable, there are ways to look up people. One of them is www.ripoffreport.com. You can feel free to go to that report and do a search. All you need to do is put in the first name and the last name that you're looking for. Put it in quotation marks. That way it just searches for that individual, and you can see for yourself what might be going on. So let's talk about where the company is now at the end of 45 days. Let's talk about the last week, which is, of course, the first week in September. What happened with Bella Homes? Did this publicity or the individuals who thought they wanted to bring to light certain things, how did it affect business? Well, actually, it was the best week out of 6 weeks. We had 20 clients sign their pre-closing agreements. Let's take a look at, besides helping those 20 people stay in their home when they otherwise might not have, what did that do for the field? Well, that generated $28,900 in immediate income for the week. That generated, there's also, as you know, our immediate income, and then there's income that will be paid in the future on the business that was done. It has generated $6,120 in residual income and $480,000 in retirement income for over $500,000 worth of total commission going to the field over time for what happened during the past week. If we expand that to monthly, that would be $124,000 in immediate income, $26,000 in residual, and over $2 million in retirement income, along with about 80-some people who are staying in their homes that might otherwise not be, for a total of $2.2 million total going to the field over time for the work during the month of September. You know, that is a testament to the fact of many of the leaders on the phone here and the clients that they're helping, but it's also the testament to the fact of two individuals in this company, Wendy Vanderstein and Addison Beverly, who took on the job and position of being the first two certified trainers. The company has a closing ratio of 40% of the applications that are approved that will sign the pre-closing documents. These two individuals are over 80%. They're helping each and every individual in the field, as the first two sales must be training sales, and they are split commission sales on the immediate income to those certified trainers. And so now, folks, we all need to really make a decision. We need to get past this. Do you believe that Bella Homes, with no complaints, hundreds of clients, and 18 months of history, is helping homeowners? Do you want to help homeowners? Do you think that an 85% comp plan is adequate? With a total of about $30,000 total over time, field commission on each and every client, do you believe that's fair? Do you believe you have a future here? I do. But we each must make our own decisions, and we will support whatever decision you make. We want to let you know that we're moving forward, and we're going to be doing that aggressively. I would welcome you to move forward with us. I'd like to ask Sunil Wadhwa, who actually brought the entire concept to Bella Homes and then created the network marketing division, with any final comments. Sunil, are you there?
Rick, great job, and thanks for putting the webinar together here. You know, it's been an interesting 45 days, as you've just outlined, but as you say, we are very, very excited. And, you know, I share a quick example, a story, if you will, of a rocket ship going from Earth to Moon. And I think most of us probably think that it goes in a straight shot from point A to point B. The reality is that that spaceship, that space rocket, actually makes literally thousands of adjustments as it's moving from point A to point B. You know, unfortunately, this has been a sad situation, frankly, in my opinion. It's been really uncalled for, but it is what it is, as they say. And, you know, we're going to make the adjustments necessary as that rocket ship. And we're on the mission, and that mission is to help as many homeowners in this country stay in their homes. And we are committed to Bella's strategies, you know, as we've been shared many times over by Mark Diamond and his staff, that they have certainly a legitimate program here. They've been at it, as you've outlined very well, for a year and a half. And we believe in what they're doing, and we are going to continue with the MLM division. And as you say, Rick, you and I are committed to moving forward, as we hope everybody on this call is, as well as your team is. So with that, Rick, back to you.
Well, folks, thanks very much for joining us on this webinar. It has been recorded and will be made available. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.